Hello, Positive Impact Club. Thanks for checking in today. One thing I wanted to talk to you about that has been suggested that we discuss a little bit is, like playing the blame game. I think it's something that happens so much just in everyday life, but particularly in business. And I really work with my employees on this and communicating on it and understanding how easy that is to do and what it actually does for an employee. And so this happens all the time. Something has gone wrong in our office. Something was missed. And there's lots of different, we work, with again, like 12 to 15 employees, but then we have kind of things like that we outsource, like billing and collections and, even answering our phones. And it becomes a very easy thing to do when something goes wrong to point the finger at somebody else, because there's lots of people hanging around, right? And lots of things that happen in our office go through a series of people before it becomes a problem. And an issue could have arisen anywhere like along that path. So a very common thing that happens in my office is, well, I did my part right, so it must be this person's fault. Because it takes all the responsibility off of you. So now, well, this is no longer my problem. I wasn't involved in it. I always really cut people short right there and say, listen, it really doesn't matter whose fault it is, if it was your fault or if it was somebody else's fault. How are we going to fix this issue? Like, how are we going to make sure that this does not occur again? And that's the only important thing that, would be the result of talking about it. Like, how do we get this better and have this not happen again? But I find many of my employees and even like other people that I work with or talk to say, well, it wasn't my fault. And when I ask them to say, does it matter whose fault it was? And just let them kind of sit with that and think about it, because it is very easy. And guess what? I've done it myself. Something goes wrong, like we've all done it. So like, well, you know what? I did like the part of that process that I was in charge of, and someone else dropped the ball. Ultimately, when you own the business or you're running a team, the responsibility is on you. So it's really all about, well, how do we fix this again? So I encourage you, if you're talking to employees or like other people that you work with, and they are trying to play the blame game, because everybody will, okay? You really have to stop them, and this is what I just say, does it matter whose fault it is? And just let them kind of think about it, because then it makes it easier. So now we can move on. Like, how are we going to fix this? Like, that's the important part. This went poorly here with a patient. We got some feedback or something. Something went wrong on our part, and and some people even want to blame the person who's complaining. Well, why is this patient complaining about that? Why is the person calling about their their policy? Or like, why are they complaining about that? And let's blame that person. I mean, that's even like the worst case scenario that you could go to. But I encourage you, whenever you have an interaction with somebody and someone is trying to play the blame game and point the finger, take the easy way out, take responsibility off of them. I want you to ask that person, does it matter whose fault it is? And let them answer, like, how are we going to fix it? That's it. Just 2 steps in how we're going to do that. So I encourage you yourself, and I tell myself to do it. Stop playing the blame game. Let's just fix the issue at hand. But the next time someone says that to you, please ask them those questions and see what kind of response you get. Thanks for following our information here. I hope you're getting a lot of good usable content that you can use at work. And I really appreciate you being a part of the Positive Impact Club.